Hi there everyone, and I have one more very beautiful chess game to show you in today. So in this chess game we have Wilhelm Steinitz with the white pieces, and his opponent was an American chess master, not very well known, Alexander Sellman. This chess game was played in 1885, Baltimore, United States. So let's see what happened. Steinitz had the white pieces and he starts the game with e4, e6, and we have the French defense, and then knight to c3, knight to f6, e5, and this was the Steinitz variation of the French defense, Wilhelm Steinitz's own invention as a big contributor to the chess theory. He was also an experimental chess player. He was not afraid of trying new things when he was playing against his opponents. So we have knight goes back and then f5, c5, and this is a typical French move, challenging the center. D takes on c5, bishop takes on c5, knight to f3, a6, bishop to d3, knight to c6, so developing the pieces, and then knight to b4, bishop to d2, b5, expanding from the queen side, and then knight to d1, capturing the bishop, eliminating the bishop, and then c takes on d3, queen to b6, and then very good move. Now you can see that black is controlling the diagonal, so white can't castle right now, but Wilhelm Steinitz played a very good move. b4, exclamation point, kicking the bishop back, and then a3, cementing the b pawn, and then he is going to control the diagonal, and then he is going to be able to castle. So f5, and this was a question mark. This weakens the king and light squares at the same time, and it created an isolated weak pawn on e6, question mark. So rook over, controlling the open file. So bishop to b7, bishop to e3, after controlling the c file with the rook, now dominating the dark diagonal with the bishop, so defending the queen, and then knight to d4, exclamation point, because now Steinitz is attacking the e-pawn. Knight goes back, a very passive and ugly looking move, but this was Sellman's best bet, just holding everything together in glue. But it feels wrong, and black's position seems fragile, that can collapse very soon. So we have castling. So how about in this position trying to defend with the king? Well, this is losing the castling rights, and white is going to create another weakness with pushing the pawn. So the kings are not good defenders. In this position, knight goes back, knight to f8, and Wilhelm Steinitz castled. So we can say that in here, especially in this position after castling, white is 10 times better, maybe 100 times better in this position. White castled, white king seems very happy, and black king seems very unhappy being boxed in on e8. It is stuck and its safety is compromised. So h5, and black is desperately wants to relieve his position. So watch this. While black was busy trying to castle manually, Steinitz is going to make bunch of knight maneuvers. So manual castling, but this wastes so many moves. This is wasting so many moves, while Steinitz creates a very strongly positioned knight. So knight to b1, g6, knight to d2, and look at this. He moves the same piece over and over again just to activate his knight, and the knight is a menace now. So let's watch this once again. It was very interesting. So knight to c3, watch this knight, and watch it again, and then finally knight to a5, and knight is controlling the very important key square of c6, both knights and also the rook. You can see that controlling on c6 and also attacking the bishop. While black was busy and wasting moves, Steinitz placed his knight on a5. So bishop goes back, what else, defending the bishop, and Steinitz simply captures the rook, and now he has the control of the open c file. He dominates the c file, so defending the queen, and then queen to c2. So bishop to d8, attacking the knight and defending the key square of c7. But Steinitz played knight from a to c6. Now this time c6 is under siege by the knight, so occupying the c square which was another very important key square. Queen to b7. Well, capturing the knight is out of questions because of queen takes on c6. How to defend the pawn? With the rook, then queen takes knight. And in here, if knight goes back defending with the knight, then queen takes on a6 and black is falling into pieces. And the b pawn is a gunner and the rook can jump in to c8. As you can see, rook to c8 is also next and the b pawn is a gunner. So in here, this is why we have queen to b7, but then knight takes bishop, rook takes is the only move, and then queen to c7 exclamation point, and we have queen to b8, because if exchanging the queens, then rook takes. And can you see the knight is pinned, but can you see white's next move? Well, infiltrating on the 7th and rook to a7 is possible. Well, actually there are so many good moves for white. A bishop to f2 to h4 is inevitable actually, and this is resignable for black. Even though the material is even, the position is completely lost for black. So bishop to h4 is going to make black's life miserable, attacking the defender, and black's position is going to fall apart. So interesting, queen to c7, queen to b8, a very instructive chess game so far. So we have bishop to f2, queen to b6, so bishop was on the way to h4, and then knight to f3. So if, of course, if moving the bishop, queen takes knight was possible, but simply knight back, and that's a discovery attack to the queen. So black really doesn't have much. Queen takes on c7, and then rook takes on c7, knight can also jump, as you can see, and the bishop is on his way to h4, making black's life miserable to say the least. So king to e8 unpinning, and then knight to g5, again hitting the weakness. Well, I would resign in this position as black. What is Sellman doing now? So knight goes back, what else? Defending and holding everything together just on time, but then bishop to c5, threatening checkmate, rook to e7, so knight to d7, and in here rook to d7 is a losing move because of check, only defense, rook takes rook, king takes rook, and then bishop takes knight, easily winning for white. So this is also losing, so knight to d7, and then Wilhelm Steinitz played, because Wilhelm Steinitz played an incredible move. Now, maybe capturing the pawn comes to mind, but he played bishop to d6, a horrible looking Zugzwang for black, as black is running out of waiting moves. One of the most instructive chess games ever, and black resigned. Black doesn't have much moves left, so let's check out almost every legally puzzle moves for Sellman in here. So if well, black can't move the knight, black can't move the rook, black can't move the bishop or the pawns. So this is all over. So let's say if knight to f8, then this is getting checkmated. Rook to e7, checkmate. And what a brutal move by Wilhelm Steinitz. So if h4, then simply knight takes on e6, defending the rook, and then knight to g7 check, and if king to f7, capturing the knight with check, and if king to d8, then e6, and this is a killer move. So knight to b6, e7 is checkmate. So this is also a checkmate. I mean, this was a savage move by Steinitz, Zugzwang. So if d4, then knight takes on e6, and if moving the rook finally, then knight takes, and knight to g7 check is next, and that leads to mate soon. Black's position is falling apart at move 35 after the Zugzwang. So okay, a very instructive chess game by Wilhelm Steinitz, bishop to d6, and Sellman resigned. So he outplayed his opponent from start to finish. A very accurately played, beautiful positional chess game by Steinitz. So okay, thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed watching this as well, and I hope to see you next time. Have a nice weekend, and bye bye.